Okay, so topic of today's lecture is the spinal cord reflexes. So as we all know that the spinal cord has an organization in which there is gray matter and the white matter. And the spinal reflexes, they consist of three elements. Number one, they involve the sensory neurons, which are shown in the blue. These are the sensory neurons, also known as the afferent neurons. The second component is the uh, lower motor neurons, which are shown in the red, and they are also known as the efferent neurons. They exit the spinal cord, as you can follow the arrow. They exit the spinal cord and supply the muscle. Now, between the sensory and the lower motor neurons, the third component of the spinal reflexes are the connector neurons, which are also known as the interneurons. They are present inside the gray matter and they connect the sensory neuron and the motor neuron. So the three components of the spinal reflexes are sensory neurons, the connector which connects sensory neuron with the efferent neuron or motor neuron. Uh, this whole structure, this whole layout organization is known as spinal reflex arc. So this is the reflex arc, the complete pathway. It is now spinal reflex action is an involuntary and immediate motor response to sensory stimulus. So involuntary means it is not under the control of brain or consciousness or the person's will does not influence it, but it is carried on its own. Also, it is immediate. The response is very quick and the impulse occur from a sensory receptor. Many connector and the motor neurons may be stimulated by different impulses from small area of skin. For example, touching a very hot surface like this. Impulses are transmitted to the spinal cord by the sensory fibers and they stimulate connector and the lower motor neurons in the spinal cord. This results into the contraction of the skeletal muscle of the hand, arm, or even the shoulder, or when the finger is immediately moved. As we can see, action is if contraction of the skeletal muscle will lead to pulling of the finger away from the source of stimulus. Reflexes of this type are protective. So the main purpose of these types of reflex action are that they are protective in nature. They protect injury. Has there been no reflex action, the finger or the part of the body will continue to be injured. So these are the reflexes. These reflexes are protective in nature and they are quick because if impulse has to go to the cerebral cortex, it will take a lot of time to go and then come back, uh, and during that time the injury may have taken place. So in order to prevent injury, the response should be immediate, and this is why the reflex does not involve the cerebral cortex. So this is a simple reflex arc I have shown you. Reflex arc can be of many types. The reflex action can be of many types, but the general organization will be the same. The efferent, the receptors, efferent, the center, which is mostly the spinal cord, and the efferent and the effectors, which are the muscles mainly. Another type of reflex, this is another uh, general diagram. We can see from the skin a sharp pricking sensation stimulates the receptors and then pulses go to the efferent. These are the interneurons which I have already described as connector neurons. They can be stimulatory to one muscle or and inhibitory to the other group of muscles. So, and it will the impulses will be carried by the different nerve fibers to the muscle. Okay, now the stretch reflex. In stretch reflex, only two neurons are involved. The cell body of the lower motor neuron is stimulated directly by the sensory neuron. So, in this, the uh, neuron directly stimulates the efferent neuron. The efferent neurons or the sensory neuron directly stimulates the motor neuron. There is no connector neuron in between the two. The knee jerk is an example of this type of reflex, uh, and it can be stimulated by stretching the tendon across the joint. So now the receptors are not the present in the skin in stretch reflexes. This is the inverse stretch reflex. In stretch reflexes, the receptors are not present in the skin, but they are present in the muscles themselves. So whenever there is the stretch of the muscle, so whenever there is the stretch of the muscle, it will lead to the activation of these receptor and impulses will go to the spinal cord. By for example, the knee jerk, this is the in this we have illustrated the knee jerk. In knee jerk, the uh, tapping the by tapping the tendon just below the knee, when it is bent, the knee should be in the bent position like this, and when you tap the tendon just beneath the patella, the patellar tendon, the sensory nerve endings in the tendon and in the thigh muscle are stretched. So there are special receptors and special nerve endings as we can see here. These nerve fiber will be stimulated when the muscle will be stretched. Now what will they do? Uh, they they will initiate a nerve impulse that will pass into the spinal cord to the cell body of the lower motor neuron, where at the anterior column of gray matter. Now the result will be that the muscle will immediately contract and there will be extension of the at the knee. So the muscle will contract and the leg will become straightened and the foot will kick forward, means that they will be fully it will fully the leg will become fully extended. This test is used uh, uh, this is used to test the integrity of reflex arc. This type of reflex also is protective. How? Because it prevents excessive joint movement that damage tendon, ligament and muscles. Apart from stretch reflex, there are other reflexes which are known as the autonomic reflexes. The autonomic reflexes are the light reflex, which is also known as pupillary light reflex. In pupillary light reflex, when you shine the light uh, into the eye, the pupil immediately undergo constriction. As you can see, as you all know that when you shine eye or when you go from dark space area to the bright area, the pupil immediately undergoes contraction. It becomes small in size in response to bright light. Now, why? Because it protects the retinal damage. It prevents excess entry of light into the eye, so that the uh, damage can be prevented. Damage of the retina can be prevented. Now, let us begin with the peripheral nervous system. Peripheral nervous system, the central nervous system consists of brain and the brainstem, and the spinal cord. The peripheral nervous system are the extensions of the central nervous system from the brain. It can be from the brain as well as from the spinal cord. These extensions are known as the nerves. Okay, and they supply almost every organ of the body. So these they constitute the peripheral nervous system. These extensions are known as nerves. If these extensions or nerves originate from the brain itself, they are known as the cranial nerves. And when they originate from the spinal cord, they are known as the spinal nerves. Now, it is not that there are random pairs of these extensions or nerves, but in human, each human has fixed quantities of these nerves. So there are 12 pairs of cranial nerve, not 12 nerves, not 12 cranial nerve, 12 pairs, which means that there will be 12 nerves on left side and 12 nerves on the right side. So overall there will be 24 cranial nerves, but uh, the we write it as 12 pairs. So if someone asks you how many cranial nerves are there, do not say 24, do not say 12, but say 12 pairs of cranial nerves. Similarly, there are 31 pairs of spinal nerves. Most of these nerves are composed of sensory, but they can be motor as well, and they can be mixed. Okay, so these nerves can supply the skeletal muscle or the smooth muscle and also the glands, the efferent. As you must know, the efferent, as I think now at that point you should know, efferent means the impulses, the nerves which carry impulses away from the CNS, and the afferent which carries impulses towards the CNS. So spinal nerve, there are 31 pairs of spinal nerve, um, and they are grouped according to the vertebra from which they emit. There are 8 pairs of cervical nerves because they exit from the cervical segments of the spinal cord, 12 pairs of thoracic, 5 lumbar, 6 coccygeal, 5 sacral, and 2 coccygeal. Nerve roots. The spinal nerves, they arise from both sides of the spinal cord and emerge through the intervertebral foramina. As you can see, this is the intervertebral foramina, and they uh, exit from this. Each nerve, this is a nerve. Each nerve is formed by a union of the anterior and posterior nerve root. This is the anterior nerve root, and this is the posterior nerve root. Anterior nerve roots are motor, posterior nerve roots are sensory. So just as they emit from the intervertebral foramina, they combine together these two roots and form the spinal nerve, which is a mixed nerve. Mixed nerve means they carry both sensory as well as motor nerve fibers. Thoracic and lumbar spinal nerve have a contribution of sympathetic nervous system of the autonomic nervous system, as we will discuss it later on. Okay, the area of the skin which is supplied by a single uh, sensory segment is known as a dermatome. This is important. So the area of the skin which is supplied by a single, you can write it as which is supplied by a single spinal segment is known as a dermatome. Okay, as we can see this. So for example, this is the upper limb, and we can see these are the different colors. They are not in specific strips, but they are landmarked according to the spinal segment. So although the nerve supplies of some areas are the different, but they are supplied by a single spinal segment. For example, as you can see, this the shoulder, the skin over the shoulder, this is supplied by the spinal segment C3. So this is the dermatome of the C3 segment, and this is the dermatome of the C5 and C6 and so on. So the area of the skin which is supplied by a single spinal segment is known as a dermatome. This is the dermatome of the lower limb. If to remember dermatome, you may not remember the nerve is supplied, but only the segment will be sufficient. Okay, the nerves are the nerve roots have covering of dura and recarite matter. They terminate before the two roots join to form mixed nerve. The nerve roots have no covering of the pia matter. Pia matter ki doesn't they don't have a covering of pia matter. Okay, what are the rami? Just they emerge from the intervertebral foramina. They again the mixed nerve divide into different into branches, two branches which are known as the rami, posterior rami and the anterior rami. Okay, so these are not the anterior and posterior nerve roots. They are different. Anterior and posterior nerve roots are always sensory and motor respectively. Anterior, sorry, posterior and anterior. But the ramus, they are mixed. Okay, and also rami communicantes are also the part of the preganglionic sympathetic nerve fiber, and we will discuss it in autonomic nervous system. Okay, so now the posterior MI they pass backward and divide into multiple branches which supply the skin of the posterior aspect, skin and muscles of the posterior aspect of the body, and the anterior MI they are much more thicker as compared to posterior, and they supply the anterior and lateral surface of the rest of the body. Now the plexus and the these topics we will discuss it in the anatomy. From the next lecture, we will discuss the autonomic nervous system. Okay, so learn it by heart. The definition of dermatomes and the uh, stretch reflexes are all very important. One thing which is not mentioned here, you should write it in your book. The receptors for stretch reflex are muscle spindles. Write it down in your book that the receptor for the stretch reflex are muscle spindles. Thank you very much. Have a good day and stay safe.